Okay, so guys, good to see you guys again. Good to have you guys. I've not seen anybody. I've not seen any of you. Okay, I just a Skype call this morning. But anyway, it feels good to be here again. To Wednesday, the midweek edition of the Breakfast Show. And like say from 8:30 to 9, Barrister and my able self they always day here to tell you guys everything you need to know about the law. And of course, that one way they always talk ignorance of the law. No matter the situation where you find yourself, no be excuse. Trust me. The reality now we always talk right here on the show. I guess what Barista is here. As a matter of fact, we started something new last week, legal sides of religious practices. And we'll definitely be having a part of that today. So guys, stick around because it's definitely going to be an amazing time with Barista and myself on the show today. Barista, so I came here and I complimented your tie. I like it. You look
Oh, thank you very much. My blush is blushing.
Barista, don't worry.
My blush is
That's
blushing.
the problem. If it was a lady now, she'd be like, really?
Oh, as in.
But now you're doing, no, it doesn't fit men.
Okay,
It's
that's
just
what would you
yeah.
say. Okay,
No,
thank
you just
you.
be like, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's one masculine. Thank you. I like
You
it.
know,
I like it.
yeah.
Thank you. Viewers at home, welcome to our world, Legal Matta. And let me say we said last week on talking about the legal side of religious practices. Like when we started, we were speaking. I said Nigeria is a secular state, has no religion, it has no state religion.
Particular religion.
It's very secular. No person will get religion, state religion. So you have Muslims, you have Christians, you have traditionalists, and what have you. So to that extent, nobody can claim superiority over religion, and that's why you have to be very, very careful about your sentiments, because actually in the realm of things, your religion comes more or less in the purview of your emotion, your conviction about who your worshipper, your God is, who you believe in. So, but sometimes you find that because of this, many of us who tend to overstep our bounds without understanding that we have, believing that there is divinity, of course, and that's why you have to understand that in every sphere there is a law that even regulates and guides that your pursuit, that's your religion mind where you get. I bet that's my English only too much. So that's your religious mind where you get. And that's why last week I couldn't tell you, but because of time, we certainly would like to finish this topic today, and we just have about 20 more minutes or so. But for those who want to know more, just call me, because I have some books I've written on that. 10 urgent and legal questions for every faith-based organization and non-for-profit organizations in Nigeria. So you have to. You have to. That one is that one. So it helps you to know the questions you ask yourself about this issue of for profit or for faith, business or organization. What have you done? What are you not doing? So it helps you. That's an aspect. It's a 10 legal questions you have to ask. There's also 15 mistakes, which I wrote 15 legal mistakes that can jeopardize the business of faith-based organizations. 15 legal mistakes that can jeopardize the business of faith-based organizations that can also be helpful to you as well. There's also the registration of religious organizations, which I also wrote, organizations in Nigeria and NGOs in Nigeria, which I also wrote, which can also be helpful, because some of us don't understand when you're registering your religious organizations, what are the things that you do? You have to be very careful. Then 10 legal strategies for protecting your ministry or other endeavor, whether you call it clerical ministry, or you call it Muslim clerical ministry or Christian clerical ministry, or even traditional. So you have to be very sure that you know what you're doing and you are not going against the law in that sense of it. But today, let's go back to where we're reading. You can get this book when you call me. I can tell you how. My numbers are on the screen, and I'll tell you how you can get them. But you see, let's go back to what we're talking about. Number one, we said you have to watch the law. Watch the law. The law that regulates your affair is very critical. In registration, how do you register? the law that says that this is the time to operate, you have to. I mean, I've seen people who say that they're having coffee. They saw a curfew, and they said that they want to go and do vigil. You know, it doesn't make sense. No matter how so much you are pushed by whatever it's your conviction, you have to know that almost, I mean, every book of faith talks about obedience of the law. Obedience of the law.
And I think the law of the land or the law of the country actually supersedes.
Yes, supersedes. It supersedes. That's why you have to understand that no matter how convinced, how fervent you are in your faith or with your faith, you cannot go against the law and expect that you're going to, discover. I mean, I've seen it a lot, and because you know the DPO, you know the CSO, you know this, you know that, you take that as a license, a liberty for license. Really, you are going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt the work. And there are a series of people who have done that because, just around us in this, where we are broadcasting from, there used to be a priest that was, the rave of the moment. Then he would flog his his members. He would, of course, at the point in time, he got the wrong, and as we speak now, he's still in jail. He's still in jail, cooling off, That's issue. You don't think that because you are larger than life, in quote, because of your projections on the TV, your projections or whatever, or, just no. And because of your conviction too, but I'm not even talking about you as a cleric now, you as a member. I mean, for instance, there are things that the law says you should do. Register your children for immunization, and you don't want to register. If there's a law that says that if you don't register it, you're going to go, it's crime, then believe me, your conviction with about your religion, vis-a-vis about the law, you are going to go in for it because the law says you must immunize that child. The law says you must allow that child to register for school. So these are all the things that you have to get into. Number two, we said watch your emotions. Emotions, quickly. Your emotions, whatever it is, no matter. And I was giving an example last week about the fact that most of us, our emotions take a better hand of us. You do things that, yes, you think that you're being good. You house people that you don't know. You put people in, you help people, indiscriminately. Yes, you could help them, but that's why you have to put a structure in place so that when you're helping, it shows what you're doing. There are people who have even started orphanages out of the dire need to help those people who want help, but those orphanages are turned out to become their own undoing. There used to be a woman around there who was called Biscuit in those days, had many children with her that she was taking care of. In the course of time, I mean, she used to be at home at Allen Avenue in those days. And, it was a case of, look, those children are being, what do you call those names? That those children are, she was dealing in children. That's what they call it.
Trafficking.
Trafficking. It was trafficking children. And it became a major embarrassment to her cause. I also want to know of another person that had, an orphanage somewhere around here too, who, for over the years, people knew that was an orphanage. But in the course of time, she stepped on some toes. And because her undoing was that she had not registered.
Oh.
And then it became a major embarrassment for her. Of course, terrible embarrassment, I must say. So you have emotions. Whatever you're doing, emotion. Don't. I give you an example of that man wanted to collect a gun from a convert, and almost did not. Almost did, but he could not. Otherwise, but the funny thing about that is that somebody saw that, posted that on her status, and then when she posted it on her status, a police officer, saw it and said that man was even lucky to have been let go because even the fact that he knew that there was a gun that he didn't on his own go and report to the police could also be taken as a basis of a crime because of there's such a possibility. So these are all the things that you have to go through. Then watch your convictions, your doctrines, your belief, your doctrines, your belief. No, we don't take injection. No, we don't do this. We don't do that one. Watch it because sometimes it can lead you to issues. Or no, we don't accept men, or we don't accept women to this place. It can be sued. I mean, these are things that has made us major embarrassment because really Nigeria does not. The law says that there shall be no discrimination on account of religion, on account of gender, on account of sex. There should be no. So when your conviction is such that it's making people feel like you are discriminating against them, or you are making them look as though they are incompetent, then there's something wrong about it.
Okay, I'm sure there will be nothing wrong if you choose to go for a quick break, right?
No,
okay, yes,
there
should be nothing wrong with that, right? So we'll go for a very quick break. When we come back, Barrister and myself sitting here, the numbers will be on the screen. Feel free to Skype with us and call us to ask your questions. We'll be right back.
Our people in the talk say ignorance of the law. Don't be excuse.
If my name is for property, my child don't take that thing.
But I get one question now. If person die now and he puts his wife or he puts any of his relative as next.
Ignorance of the law no be excuse o. That's na why we get one ogbonge program wey we dey call Legal Matta on top WAP TV. You fit interact with us on top the show or talk to Barrister Vincent through we phone numbers wey be 08173147589 and 08105434984. You still fit call us on top with Skype ID wey be WAP TV.
Okay, so guys, good to have you guys again. This time around, straight up, we open the phone lines. Remember, so we talk about the legal side of religious practices. And Barrister don't touch different things. He's spoken so much about emotions, the fact that you've got to register and all of that. But then let's hear from you guys. Let's see if you have questions or you've got contributions to make on the show this morning. Please feel free to call the numbers on the screen, 08105434985 and call 08173147589. Now you can also call us on our Skype ID, of course you can see that for yourself, at WAP TV. Just search for WAP TV on Skype and we are good to go. So Barrister, I got like 2 questions here where I don't pen down. The first now, do they request religious organizations to register? Like, do they need to register? Most of all of these religious
fantastic question. Fantastic. Everybody watching me, you see, by law, no law particularly requires you to register your religious organization. Because you have fundamental human right of freedom to practice your religion, to profess your faith, to gather in an assembly of people, to be together with people, making a gist about what you believe in and what have you. It's only when you want to say, now this group don't become big, or you want to formalize them. And when you are formalizing it, you are not registering that organization. You are not registering the organization. What you are doing, you are going to register. So it's like 4 or 5 of us or 6 of us. This is not a group. I want to go. So one register. What you will be registering with the trustees. You go pick 1 or 2 people from that organization, that group, to say, okay, 2 of now go and act as our trustee of this. That's why they call it the registered trustees or incorporated trustees. So technically speaking, you are not registering that group. You are only registering the trustees of that group. That's what people don't know.
So is it that we are saying they don't register the name of?
You don't register that group, because the group by when you are registering that group, it's like if you're saying it's compulsory to register that group, it's like like you're saying that we cannot gather together. Every gathering must be registered. No, we can gather, we can talk, we can play, we can relate to our religion, we can profess our faith, we can chat. So you can even have a fellowship for 20 years and it's not registered. And as long as it's not illegal, they are free to freedom. That's part of the freedom you enjoy. If you're in prison, even in prison, the prisoners are allowed to be together. It's when you want to be punished, they give you isolation. They isolate you, and that's one even a tough punishment there. But outside, you can relate. Now, if you now want to register that your relation, that's your group, it's not the group itself you are registering. It's the people who say they can do trustees on behalf of that people. That's why they call it incorporated trustees of Redeem. Of NASFAT. Incorporated trustees of NASFAT. Incorporated trustees of Ansauddin. Incorporated trustees of. So you are not registering Ansauddin, you are registering the incorporated. You are the trustees. So those trustees will now hold forth on behalf of that NASFAT, on behalf of Redeem.
So that means I cannot single-handedly say I own...
Wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong.
Even if I was the one that came up with the idea.
Except you want to see, the only time that you stay and stand with that is that when you are in a fellowship and you can say, okay, that's the founder of the fellowship. And at that place, you can hold that influence. But the moment you go ahead to say, I want to incorporate the trustees, you have lost technically what is called the ownership of that, because no individual can register. Except you are doing a trust for yourself. But if you are talking about a charitable trust for like trustees, then it has to be that on behalf of a community of people. That's why under the law, there's Part A, Part B. Part A of Company and Other Matters Act talk about companies. Part B talks about business names. Okay. But Part C talks about incorporated trustees. Okay. So the moment you go to that and say, I want to have, there's nothing called ownership of ministry, ownership of that organization. Okay. You are merely the founder, the initiator, but that has come into the purview of the public. Now the public is the owner, but they are the trustees who are say that in case of anything, they're the one that will be answered, they'll be answering for that organization. Not that the trustees are the owner, but it's just that when we come and we need to ask something about that organization, those are the ones that we are said to be the trustees of that.
Now, does the government have a say on how they rule or how?
No, once you register, the government does not have a say on your operations in that sense.
Okay, so we know what I'm asking, because when you're giving an example, you mentioned a time or a particular situation will be happen of somebody that was beating his members, maybe for reasons best known to him. And we've seen in a couple of practices online where we say you keep asking yourself that, okay, are these guys under the law? Do they go by what the law has to say? When you see them doing some things that you feel are not supposed to be. But let me hold you up a bit. Let's take Timothy from Lagos, and you can now answer my question. Timothy, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, Timothy. How are you doing?
I'm very fine, sir.
Thank you.
Sorry, sir. I want to find out something. Are religious body, are they supposed to pay tax?
No, thank you very much. A religious body, because once you say that you are under a religious organization, under the law I said, that Company and Other Matters Act, Part A, Part B, any company under those two are meant to be profit-making, so they have to pay tax. But once you come to Part C, which is the incorporated trustees, what you are saying is that you are more or less trying to do something that is beneficial to the government, to the society. And you don't want to use it as a profit motive. You want to use it as a non-for-profit making organization. So because of your complementary role, because of the fact that in speaking religious issue to people, their mind will not go into crime. In doing, probably want to own a club, want to run a club, people will be able to relax. Probably sickle cell people you want to be reaching out to. You're going to be complementary government. Because of that, government will say that your organization is not taxable entity. Is not taxable entity. Okay. But the operatives of the place, probably like the people that are working there, would have to pay tax. Okay. But the organization itself is not taxable. So you can make money, you can make surplus. What you make is not called profit. What you make is called, surplus. And you are expected to plow back, to put that surplus into the furtherance of what you have said you want to do. If you want to set up a school, to make the school bigger, to make it, you can even charge premium. You can charge a lot of money for people that come and get your offering. But the point is that any money you make, you cannot take it out as sharing of profits. So that's where but the operatives, the people that are working there, will pay tax, pay tax, but the organization itself does not pay tax.
I think he's gone. Okay. Because Barrister, why they ask now, say, now these days they get so many tortured centers. Let me use that word. Exactly. Regarding themselves as religious organizations. So,
exactly the point I was trying to make, that you see the practices that you are carrying out, so long as within the ambit of law. Okay. That's why no matter how you feel that, I have the ministry in quote to cure people of mental ailments, and then you keep them in chain. If the law says that is wrong, then regardless of your conviction, your religious conviction about how to go about it, regardless of the mind you have in what you want to do, if policemen come there, they arrest you. Because as it were, you are operating a torture center, you are putting those children in a dehumanizing position. So you might be saying, but I intend it for good. I wanted to do it for good. That's why. The same thing when you are feeding people in your, say you are doing fooding or whatever, and then you are not careful that those who prepare the food have done it properly, and that the hygiene is good. So if people eat it and they start running, purge, regardless of what you have done, that we are trying to help people, we are trying to feed the homeless, it doesn't matter, because at that point in time, it looks as if you introduce poison to the system and you wanted to hurt them. So these are people that...
Let's take David, sir. Hello, David. Good morning. David.
Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Good morning, Barrister.
Good morning, David.
Yeah, concerning these legal practices, are you now saying a man now can own like a church or a mosque, like himself, like registered and say, I am the owner of this church or a mosque? One, I have two questions. And secondly, why is it that when, we have, like Slim said some time ago, we have some church centers, like in disguise as a church. Can, a person like me now goes into a church and the man in charge now is now forcing like maybe a deliverance or something on me. Can I really sue that kind of a person?
No, let me put it this way. You see, now you have to be very balanced it out. Number one, the first question, you cannot own a church in a sense, or you cannot own a mosque.
As an individual.
Yes, you cannot own, but you can initiate, you can start, you can be the founder of that work. You can be started and can be the major influence of that work. Are you getting me? But by law, when the work becomes something that you have to go and say, I want to go and register, in quote, which many people say, you cannot register the work itself as under Part C. You can register the work as a business. You can register it as a business and you can say, this is my business and whatever. But the moment you go under Part C to go and say that, I want to register this work, on that level, it cannot be owned by an individual. Even that individual, if it's like if you are trustee there, the law says that even as a trustee, you cannot earn income from that. Because trustees are not meant to be earning income from the work that they are doing. That's why when you are like you are the founder and you want to be earning income, you have to be very guided and guarded that you are not a trustee at the same time earning, because the law is very clear. It's very clear about how you make money from that. Now, going by the other aspect, Emeka,
Emeka, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Please go on.
Yeah, I have a question to ask Barrister. Now, what is the law? What does the law have in stake for a man who marries a widow? Right? Is it lawful, or I want to know whether it's lawful, because there is this my neighbor. So last 4 months she lost her husband. Then earlier this month now we are not seeing him. We are not seeing her with a new guy. So, and I think very soon they'll soon get married. So is it lawful? Is it?
Yeah, yes. That's a private affair of that woman. But you see, when a woman lost, because the marriage is for a lifetime. Marriage is for a lifetime. Of course, in terms of sentiments, emotion, the way social expectation, there should be a moment, there should be a period of mourning. Are you understanding me? But what terminates a marriage is that divorce or death. So it's till death do us part. Of course, there should be expectations that follows with that.
You didn't answer
second question. Yes. Oh, wow. So from Abuja. So the second question is that when you that's why you have to understand that going to go for deliverance and what have you, any person, and for even pastors too, you have to ask them, and we have to ask them consent. There's a need for consent. You understand me?
So if I you say, okay, what's your state of health?
Even the imam, what have you, consent. If there is no consent in that sense, it becomes an issue that you have to. That's why you have to be guided. Abroad, people they don't want to touch you except you consent.
I think we always have issues with this because, and I know you want to finish today. Did we finish?
We have not even finished.
Because no, definitely not. There was a time I told you. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be here again next week Wednesday. There was a time I told you that okay, I opened my church. I didn't force you to come in. Now, if you come in and maybe I was trying to deliver you, I push you, you fall, and something happens, Did I force you to come into my church?
No, because even when you
I can't be asking every member.
See, that's what they call the law of Ryland and Fletcher. That is the law of keeping everybody that comes to your compound safe. So even in pushing me, you have to be sure that you put things in place.